Webmasterradio.fm proudly presents the longest-running program on affiliate marketing. Welcome to Affiliate Buzz. Our hosts, James and Arlene Martell, are here to inspire, inform, and motivate you with expert insight, interviews, and information that will increase your bottom line. Advance your affiliate marketing efforts every week on Affiliate Buzz. Now, please welcome James and Arlene.
Hi, it's James Martell here, and welcome to edition number 344 of the Affiliate Buzz, where we're dedicated to sharing with you what's working today in affiliate marketing to help you make more money, take back control of your own time, and to break free of the proverbial rat race. If you're joining us live here today on Webmaster Radio, it's great to have you with us. And if you are joining us through a podcast on your smartphone, tablet, computer, or Wi-Fi radio, a very special welcome to you as well. And yes, I do have the infamous, always seemingly to be missing wife of mine on the buzz here, and Arlene, great to have you back. And yes, we have lots to talk about today.
Yes, we do. Thanks for having me, James.
No, well, I don't need to thank you. You do have a name in the intro of the show, so we have to make sure you join us once in a while. So I do know we have some cool things to talk about. We're going to talk about Breakations, a favorite topic of mine, and something that Arlene and I just recently did this past weekend that involved Rambo. So that'll be fun. We're going to talk about the Internet Masterminds Meetup in Vancouver that we attended, and I spoke at, thanks to Mr. Matt Astafan. So we'll talk about that, and I spoke on the topic of podcasting, so we'll cover off a little bit of that. And then I want to talk about a newly refreshed format for the Affiliate Buzz, and something that listeners have obviously started to notice, because we've got quite a number of emails on the changes, and mostly positive, a couple that are a little bit, maybe they're thinking we're going possibly a little too long, so we'll see how that unfolds over the coming weeks and months. But Arlene, of course, we last week we had I don't know if we call it a week from hell, but we had a week last week that everything we touched seemed to, we had technical problems. We had a couple of writers that I think lost their minds. So we actually just decided to bail on it. I think it was probably me in frustration. It says, let's get out of here this weekend. Let's get away from the business. I didn't even care if we brought the laptops with us. I was so fed up with all the little monkey business and little problems and just stupid stuff that was happening that it was time to get away. So you, in your usual fashion, got on the computer, and because it was short notice, we weren't going to be heading off too far, so we wanted it to be within driving distance without being too much of a drive. And you actually carved out a very nice weekend for us very quickly. Yeah, no, that's just it. Like, we did have this crazy week. Sometimes it just turns out like that. Sometimes you have great weeks and everything flows, and sometimes it seems like every email you open, there's another problem. So it just seemed like it was one of those weeks that we just had so much on our plate, and just little problems with so many things. It was frustrating, and I could tell the stress level was going up, and it was definitely time for a breakation for us. So that's what you did. Of course, Breakations, to those who may be new to that term, it's something Arlene and I have been talking about and doing for a long, long time. And it's really all about working hard, because we do work hard, as I do know you probably do as well, to the listeners. But it's also about taking some time away and getting completely away from the business and relaxing and, kind of rewarding yourself for a job well done. Although in this particular case, it was more like, let's just get away from this. I don't want to do this anymore this week. Yeah, and we did take our laptop, but I don't think we opened it once. I don't think I even looked at it at all. No, we packed it with us, but I didn't open it at all. I was like, no. I think the most I did for work was post some photos through my phone that I had taken while we were out. So let's kind of talk about what we did, because I do know everybody has these types of weeks, And everybody, even if you're not having a bad week, maybe you're just working too hard and you get to a point where you're not being overly efficient and you're kind of find yourself spinning your wheels, or just, you really know you're not getting a lot done, even though you're spending hours in front of the machine. So in your case, you decided to get us up the valley. First off, we started in Hope, BC, and Hope is a great little area, about 90 minutes out of Vancouver, up at the end of the Fraser Valley, and right at actually the beginning. It's called Gateway to Holidayland because there's so many beautiful lakes and things to do in the interior of British Columbia, and that's the only way to get through to them is through Hope. And actually, when you get to Hope, there's basically a fork in the road, and you can pick one of two ways, but all roads lead through Hope. So it's a place that I spent many, many weekends over the years, and you and I and our friends back when we were teens and early 20s, there was a cabin up there that we actually went and hunted down.
Yeah, so that was fun because we, so just fresh out of high school, a bunch of us used to go up there. And a friend had a cabin, and he had it was like the main house, and then downstairs there was a ton of bunk beds, and it was the perfect location for us to get away for a weekend and just go up there and have some fun. And there's a beautiful lake close by, and it's just a beautiful area, little homes around the lake. And so we went digging around to see if we could find the cabin, and we found it. Didn't look like the cabin that we knew 30-something years ago, but the guy that actually owned the house had done renovations on it and added to it, and he was out in his yard. So that was cool. So we actually pulled up, and he's probably wondering who the heck we were, but we said, hey, we used to come here when we were, teenagers, and we had a lot of fun at your place. And he was just the greatest guy, wasn't he? Just so friendly.
Oh, yeah, he was awesome. And, you could kind of tell it was the place, and we thought maybe, I think this is the cabin, but we weren't 100% sure. And then he told us about all the bunk beds that were originally in the basement, because I guess it was owned by a church, and it was a bit of a resort or, kind of a getaway. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, it was the place. So that was fun. And then the lake right next to it is called Kakawa Lake, and it's just an absolutely gorgeous little lake that we had a lot of fun in, and we explored all around there, and it was fun. And then there's of course the Rambo connection, and of course Rambo was Sylvester Stallone, and we had a pretty good opportunity back when they filmed that, and Rambo's turned into a bit of a cult classic. It's hilarious. If you go on YouTube, people actually fly in from all over the world to go visit the locations where Rambo was filmed. And I actually remember one evening, late, it was dark, it was snowing in Hope, and I came in on the Greyhound bus, and I got out and I walked out into the streets of Hope, and it's just a beautiful little town, really tucked in the mountains, and surrounded by mountains, and the town's all decorated in U.S. billboards, and there's a gun shop there that's all lit up, and it's like, what's going on here? And there's a nice light snow falling on everything, and trying to figure out what this is. And it turns out they're filming a movie, and the movie, there's the big cop station across the street, and it turns out it happened. I don't even know if I knew it at the time, but that was Rambo. They were filming the first installment of Rambo. And, of course, it's gone on to become a very famous movie. But also over in the up the valley a little bit, probably 10, 15 minutes out of Hope, there is the Kettle Valley Railway. And the Kettle Valley Railway actually goes from Hope into the interior of BC, and they built it in the late 1800s. And eventually they had to shut her down because they just could not keep up with the snow. There was just too much snow to run a railway through there, if you can believe it. But they had there's these most amazing tunnels that they've carved out of these mountains, and they the mountains winds this really deep, fast-flowing gorge of water. So imagine going into a tunnel, coming out the other side into a gorge, so there's a bridge now, and then into another tunnel across the bridge, so there's 7 of them in a row. And for those Rambo fans, if you remember when he was in the river, that's the river by the tunnels. And if you remember when he jumped off that huge cliff and landed in the tree and broke his ribs and cut himself, that's the Quintet tunnels in Hope. So all kinds of Rambo, sets and things around Hope, if you know where to go find them. And you actually, when we went hiking around, you actually discovered the beginning, I guess, the foundation of the first bridge heading into the Kettle Valley Railway.
Yeah. So it was cool because we actually had Adam with us, who's the hugest train fan on the planet. And just to know that all these trains came through there. And we were actually able to find a lot of the old train beds. So you could actually, some of them had been turned into paths and some of them were roads, but you could actually see that the train used to go through there. And we actually followed it down along, and then we found old pieces of old bridges, and it was cool. So we're in the middle of these, little forest areas, and we're finding pieces of these train bridges from long ago, and just following the path. It was very, very nice.
Yeah, it was sure a nice breakation from the week that we'd had before. And it's amazing. You just drive an hour and a half. And I would think, everybody that's joining us here today or listening to us as a podcast is probably, if you think around your own area, within a reasonable drive, I'll bet you there's some great places that you too can take a breakation. And in this particular case, once we were done with Hope, then we headed up to not too far out of town into a place just before a place called Yale. And your mother, and I'd never been up there. It's actually embarrassing to say. And you've talked about it for years. And she's got this beautiful camp spot that she owns, nestled up in these beautiful forests.
Yeah.
And there we went. So that is a very nice place.
It was great. So everyone, this is like a little area that everyone owns their own little lot. And my mom has a little trailer on there. And everyone has like a fifth wheel or something that they put on their lot. And it's open about 6 or 7 months out of the year, and it's beside a beautiful river. And so my mom goes up there whenever she gets a break, and we were taking Adam up to spend a week with her. So we just, went there and relaxed for a bit, hung out at the campground, and then after that we headed for the main resort that we had booked, which is the Harrison Hot Springs Resort.
Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful resort, and we've been up there many, many times over the years, and always love going up. And you got us checked into the hotel there, and it's called the Harrison Hot Springs Resort because it's right on a big natural hot springs, and they've got these beautiful pools around the hotel that you can get into, and it's about 105 degrees. But when it comes out of the ground, it's actually at 140 degrees. So they actually have to cool it down because it's just too hot. But those are sure nice to relax in there. And then you pulled. This is always fun because you seem to manage to be able to book a hotel room. And this is a great little tip for any of you who are heading off to a conference or you're heading out for a trip, a vacation of some sort that involves a hotel. And as usual, the hotel, they try to put you in quite not the best room. But talk about what you did there, because you got us upgraded very nicely from what seemed like the basement into a great...
Well, because it's this hotel had actually been built in like 1925. So over the years, they've expanded it and built onto it. So they've got the main hotel, then they added the West Tower, then they added the West Wing, then they got the East Wing. So it's got all these different areas, and each kind of area is kind of priced differently. So we said, like, we're not going for the old part of the hotel. We want a nice room. So I actually booked a nice room, but then when we checked into the room, and it was in the West Wing, so this is a wing that's only like a couple of stories high, but we ended up being in the lower level, which would have been okay if we were overlooking a garden or something. But when we got to the room, there was like a cement wall with vines all over it. And that was like, that's our view? I don't think so. So, I mean, the room was beautiful, but it was like, no, I am not going to come here to relax, go out on my balcony and look at a brick wall with vines on it. It's not happening. So I went back to the front desk and said, I really like the cleanliness of the room, blah, 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 but I need a view. We are here to relax. And so right away she went into, well, we're really busy this weekend for the long weekend, and you can upgrade if you want to. It's going to be an extra $60. I said, no, I'm not paying an extra $60 to upgrade. I said, I've already paid a premium price for this room, and I want, a nice room. And so after a lot of, checking her computer, she ended up giving us a room, and we did pay a $20 upgrade, which I was totally happy to pay. But we ended up on the top, the sixth floor of the tower, overlooking the Harrison Lake, and the room was spectacular. It was beautiful. It was nice, big, comfortable, big king bed, nice balcony, beautiful bathroom. So we definitely got a major upgrade for the $20.
And you've done this. You've done this so many times. I think the best deal that you've ever done. And Arlene's a wheeler dealer. All these shows you see on TV where they're bartering, that's Arlene. That's not me. I don't even get out of the car. If she goes to a garage sale, I don't even get out of the car. It's too embarrassing for me because I'm sure she'd take. They're asking $1 for something that's clearly worth 15, and she'll offer them 50 cents, and it's just not something I can do. I just give them the buck. It's like, no. You start negotiating, I leave. So it's just not my style at all. Thank you very much. Yeah. But you do a good job of it, and I still think the best one that I've seen you do, and this is a great tip and this is such a great tip for getting upgrades that. It's amazing how often it works. It doesn't work 100% of the time, and it's never embarrassing. But some people are chicken to do it, probably me being one of them. So I always send you up to the front desk. But I think it was the Paris Hotel in Vegas. You booked it online for $99.
Yeah.
As an internet special. And then you got there, and then tell them how you had us upgraded into a $600 a night suite.
Yeah. So basically, and this works really well in Vegas. You take like a $20 bill and you put it, fold it up and put it with your credit card. And when you pass it to them, you say, "Do you have any upgrades?" And it's like, and she just went, and she goes, "Oh, yeah." And she went into her computer. I didn't know what she was doing. And then she gave me the keys. We went up and we got this sweet $600 a night suite. That was unbelievable. It was 2 rooms. It was massive, and it was really over the top for that simple upgrade.
Yeah, and you've done that so many times, and it's I guess I personally don't think to tip the person across the counter like that. Mm-hmm. And clearly you're not the first person to do it, and you've done it so many times where all of a sudden you get upgraded. And sometimes, some hotels, all the rooms are basically the same. Yeah. But you negotiate a better view. Yeah. Maybe closer to the elevator. That's right. If you want to get higher up in the, higher, if it's a high rise, you want to get higher up for a better, even a better view. It's amazing what they can do, isn't it? If you just, you treat them well, give them a little tip, and, they've got the computer in front of them, and they can make magic happen, and you've done it so many times. So I encourage everybody who's listening, next time you check into a hotel, give it a try. You got nothing to lose.
Don't be afraid to ask.
And then I remember doing it once, so I actually do use that little strategy of yours now. And I remember not too long ago when we were in Vegas, and Phil was with us. I walked up, handed him $20, and said, "You got any upgrades?" And this was at the Mirage, and he said, "Oh, yep, sure, let me do this." And Mirage is one of these hotels where all the rooms are basically the same. Mm-hmm. And we were looking out over the back. You couldn't, we couldn't see the strip at all from the rooms they were going to put us into. And he says, "Okay, sure." And he upgraded us right to the top floor and gave us the perfect view of the strip. And then, so I had the room to myself, and then Phil came up behind me when I was done checking in, and I said, "Can you do the same for him?" And he said, "Sure." And Phil handed him $20, and he had the room right next to me also overlooking the strip. So it's at $20.
Yeah, and the guy pocketed his quick $40, and he was happy. No skin off his back.
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple of happy customers to dig in, and it's really a great little strategy. So needless to say, we had a great weekend away. We explored Harrison. We came back refreshed. Yeah. We had to head out quickly on the Monday, though, because I was doing a talk that evening in Vancouver at the Internet Masterminds Meetup, which I think, let's do this. I could see we are up against the break. When we get back, let's shift gears a little bit, Arlene. Let's talk about the Internet Masterminds Meetup and how listeners can also take advantage of meetups in their own area to get out of away from the computer from time to time, get to see some people in the flesh, face to face, which I don't get to do enough of in this business. And then we can also talk about podcasting and what we covered during the talk. We'll do all that and more right after the break. Hey, Buzz listeners, as a business owner, you labor for the love of it, and you don't always have time to worry about your website. With GoDaddy Managed WordPress, you don't have to. Simply create your WordPress site or migrate an existing site. GoDaddy will handle the hosting, setup, backups, and security, and keep your site running at blazing speed so you can share your passion with your customers. Visit GoDaddy.com and enter code PRESS10 to get managed WordPress for $1 a month plus a free domain. Some limitations apply, so see the website for details.
More affiliate buzz coming up after we hear from our sponsors.
While some affiliate networks can give you offers, Affiliate Offers Network gives you offers that pay big. Why do affiliates work with Affiliate Offers Network? How about because they work with powerhouse CPAs like Affiliate.com? How about that affiliates get paid every Monday to kick off their work week? Plus, learn how their Green Bucket system can turn your email, display ad, social, video, or mobile impression into profitable income. Get connected today with Affiliate Offers Network. Call 312-560-0175 or visit affiliateoffersnetwork.com.
BubbleFast burst onto the e-commerce scene as a family-owned shipping supply provider back in 1999. The product line has grown, but Mark and Robin still own and operate BubbleFast as a family business. Being sellers themselves has taught them what online sellers need to safely and affordably deliver their products to their customers. BubbleFast is proud to be an active member of the community of online sellers. Mark and Robin sponsor seller meetup groups, share shipping tips and tricks through social media, and always love talking to customers and helping solve shipping challenges. Check out the website at bubblefast.com. Sign up for the Bubble Briefs newsletter to join the BubbleFast family. Use promo code WMR to get a 5% discount. Or call Mark and Robin at 877-599-7447. Happy shipping from Mark and Robin at BubbleFast.
InternetMarketingNinjas.com is the online dojo of the highly trained and skilled Internet Marketing Ninjas. Disavow documents, reconsideration requests, Panda and Penguin penalties. Let our superior SEO ninjas confront all of your link-related issues. The Internet Marketing Ninjas are equipped to master any marketing exercise, content creation, authorship, link building, PPC, and more. Plus, build more buzz for your brand with our social media marketing strategy. Discover all that the Internet Marketing Ninjas can do for you. Visit the online dojo now at InternetMarketingNinjas.com.
When you started your business, you first listened to your professors. Now that your business is growing and gaining ground, you only seek out professionals. PPC Professionals, an industry leader for highly optimized search marketing campaigns with over 30 years of combined management experience. Our professional approach to every campaign helps you find every avenue of revenue so that you can not only stay ahead of your competitors, but get a return on your investment and increase your bottom line. PPC Professionals, personal, professional, PPC services. PPCprofessionals.com.
Want to learn what it takes to drive truckloads of targeted traffic, convert the highest percentage of leads, and make the most money? Traffic, leads, money. On demand anytime inside the Internet Marketing Channel. Only on webmasterradio.fm.
Time now to hear some more affiliate buzz on webmasterradio.fm. Here's James and Arlene.
Yes, I'm here with Arlene, and we're talking about breakations. Although, let's, as we said, Arlene, let's do shift gears here and talk about the meetup. And I'd like to talk about meetups from the couple of perspectives. One, of course, what we talked about in Vancouver about podcasting, a great topic, something I always love to talk about. But let's talk about meetups from the point of view as also, or the perspective of a great place to learn. Mm-hmm. And I do know in a lot of cities, there's meetups literally all over the world. Vancouver is no different. It has some great internet marketing meetups, and the Internet Mastermind meetup is the largest. They claimed it's the largest one in the world with 3,600 members signed up for it. I do know there's another one in the internet marketing space that is very similar in size as well. But these are great venues to get out, get away from the computer, and spend an hour or two with like-minded individuals to take in presentations. And I know in Matt's particular case with Internet Masterminds, he does a meetup every Monday night. In fact, I'd love to get him on the buzz. I put a call out to him yesterday just to talk about meetups from the perspective of developing a revenue stream, because he has done exactly that with his particular meetup, and he hosts a meetup every Monday, with the exception of the summer. They're now shut down until September. And that's no small undertaking to book in a speaker every single Monday to come in and talk to the group. And his meetups typically have around 100 people that show up to see it. And he gets everybody from John Chow to just all kinds of people that come in and talk on just a huge variety of subjects. So I'd encourage everybody to head over to meetup.com and do a search for affiliate marketing or internet marketing or both and see what you've got available in your town. And I know that I'll be speaking at the other meetup coming up shortly, and I also got invited to speak at another meetup in the Vancouver area next week on the topic of podcasting, specifically to a podcasting meetup group. So that'll be fun. But we spend so much time behind these computers that I always love getting off to the conferences so I can talk to people face to face. And in the Vancouver area, we're starting to do that with a lot of these meetups as well. So it's a great place to find business, drive business, and to learn all at the same time. And, of course, you came downtown with us.
Mm-hmm. That was great. And I just love the variety of people that you meet there. There was so many different, types of people, types of businesses, but they're all kind of internet related. And they have a lot of information to share with each other, and you get to meet some good contacts there. We got some really great contacts there.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see, as you said, there's such a variety. They're all looking to monetize their websites somehow. Whether there be a lawyer or there was a software architect there were others that have developed information products, there was affiliate marketers there. So it's a pretty wide swath of just about everybody that's looking to capitalize on this internet era that we live in and to carve out a better life where they've got more time, to themselves, where they're not always working for somebody else or even in their own business, trying to simplify the business so it's not all consuming, and to, of course, increase their income so they can do more trips and travel. And, it's great and it's really great to hang out with those types of people because that was, some of our original goals when we got started was if I could just, if I could just make $100 a day. Yeah. I was thinking if I could just make $100 a day, I could close this other business of mine down, and then I could take it from there. And a lot of people in the room are in that particular boat right now, just getting started. Where there was others, Ricky Shelty, for example, I think is daddyblogger.com, doing amazingly well. And so many others as well, including Matt Astafan and a lot of other attendees that were there. So it was a mix of everybody from those who were just getting started, trying to find their way, to seasoned professionals who'd been around for years, building successful businesses. So I love it.
Yeah, and everybody's goals are kind of different too, right? So we went around the room and introduced ourselves, and I had just introduced myself and said, you and I had been able to build our online business completely from home and raise our 4 kids completely from our home office. And the one guy came up to me after and says, I want that. That's what I want. So it's different goals for different people. What are they looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's kind of shift gears again and talk about the talk, because it's so interesting to me. Of course, we've been podcasting now, I figured it out, for 11 years and 2 weeks. So if we look back to when the first episode of the Affiliate Buzz actually went live on jamesmartell.com, and if I go back there, I think it was June the 13th, 2003. So it's now July the 3rd, 2014, hard to believe. And yep, in Affiliate Buzz number 1, be inspired in the affiliate industry by learning to diversify your sites and build quality link partners way back then. Wow. Yeah. So here it is. Yeah, June the 13th, 2003. So that's edition number 1. And it's funny, I've got all my social media sharing buttons on this page, and it's got 0 Facebook likes, 0 Google Pluses, 0 tweets, nothing on LinkedIn, and no pin in. And if you think back to 2003, there was no Facebook, there was no Google Plus, there was no Twitter, I don't think there was LinkedIn, and there definitely was no Pinterest. So, wow. it's not surprising to see zeros straight across the board there because it just didn't exist. And I actually had a chance to go in and listen to this episode, and pretty interesting. I got to hand it to Charles, who helped come up with the idea for the buzz. He talked about he was doing the interview of me at the time, and he interviewed me every 1st and 15th of the month for 7 years, and we never missed an episode, and we never had an episode go late. So that was quite an accomplishment to pull that off. But I feel for him listening to him interview me, because he'd ask me, "So how's your week?" And I said, "Oh, it's been good. I hear you're going on, away for the weekend." "Yeah, Arlene, I'll be heading out on Friday." No details, no nothing.
No.
And then I look at affiliate buzz number 2, and it's called Aloha from Maui, how to understand keywords to free your time and grow your income. Oh, it does have a Facebook like. That's interesting. And then I take a little peek at it. It's got a little description here for it. And again, I had to listen to it, and we're in Maui, and it's being recorded. And we had a chance to share this story during the meetup because, of course, the Affiliate Buzz is the first and longest-running podcast in the affiliate marketing industry by about 5 years over anybody else. And if you think back to 2003, there was no podcast. That term didn't even exist. That wasn't coined until I think it was late 2004. So we called it an audio newsletter. It was Affiliate Buzz audio newsletter, and it was 30 minutes in length, and it came out on the 1st and the 15th of each month. And I always enjoyed doing it back then, as I still do to this day, getting on and doing the buzz. So, but it was interesting to kind of think back to those days as well. Other things we talk about: no Facebook, no Google Plus, no Twitter, no LinkedIn, no Pinterest, but also there was no MP3s. So back in the early days, we had to create WAV files and different file formats for people, so they could, if they happened to be on a Mac, they could listen to it through their Mac. If they happened to be on a Windows machine, they could listen to it through that. A lot of people were still on dial-up, so they had a 28.8K connection or a 56.6K connection, so very slow. So we had to give them a low-bound version that they could play. And then also we had a high band or higher resolution, I guess, higher, I don't even know what you would call it, for those that had the high-speed connections. And then we'd also have a downloadable version. So it was complicated, and setting up streaming audio, it was a tough thing to do. Even recording over the phone back then was very difficult. You couldn't do it through Skype. Skype, which we're using right now, may have been around, but the latency in the conversation wouldn't allow you to have a true duplex conversation where you could talk to each other. You'd be coming in at different times and just get horrible. So we had a chance to talk about all of that, and then bringing it forward to today, where we're currently sitting with podcasting, and you've seen it. You actually saw it during the talk. I actually asked the question, and so did Matt Astafan. How many of you in the room are here to learn or are planning to create your own podcast? And 25% of the room put their hand up.
Yeah.
Amazing, huh? A year ago, if that question would have been asked, it would have been probably none. Maybe one, but more than likely probably zero.
Right.
So the other thing that's happening now with podcasting, everybody's talking about podcasting. By the time I got done doing the talk, I'm sure I converted at least another 25%. So I bet you we're up over 50% of that room are seriously now considering putting together their own podcast, just because of all of the advantages of having your own show. So one of the things that we got to do up front, or I asked the question of the audience right up at the beginning to get started, is what are some of the advantages of having your own podcast? And you saw, we went around the room, and do you remember any of the answers?
I'm trying
Put you on the spot there.
Saying. Yeah.
Well, essentially you get, the ability to communicate one-to-one in this type of environment where and I listen to the podcast too. I love listening to podcasts because you get a chance to learn from somebody who's doing something you're interested in. And of course, you can build an audience. We always talk about how important it is to build an audience and a list. Podcasting is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
We talked about things such as the phone and how mobile. I asked, how many of you have a smartphone in your pocket right now or with you? And I think just about everybody put their hand up.
Yeah.
Because you take a look at just the pure penetration of smartphones. I remember reading a study by a guy named Tom Webster, who is a VP of marketing for Edison Research, and he's talking about how the smartphone has become the new first screen. In other words, it's the screen that most people use, and how that has flipped from the desktop to mobile since last year, since 2013. So here we are in 2014. Everybody essentially now has a podcast player in their pocket. They're ready to roll.
Yep. And we also talked about it being just a great way to get fresh, relevant, new content on your site every single week.
Yeah, every single week. Of course, that's what the Affiliate Buzz. Every week we add a new page of content, and not only to jamesmartell.com, but also on Webmaster Radio, on Spreaker, on Blueberry, on Stitcher, on iTunes, on YouTube, every single week. So imagine if you have your own podcast and you're consistent and you do it week after week after week after week. You do it consistently for 1 year. That's 52 episodes published on an average of 10 different sites. You've got 520 pages of not only content working for you, but also that audio is working for you.
That's great.
And that's the other thing we talked about is the longevity of a podcast. I've heard it so many times. People say, I've gone back and I've listened to the last 40 episodes, or I've listened to every episode since the very beginning. Mm-hmm. So you really get an opportunity to lay down a body of work that can then work for you and on your behalf forever. And I always think about this a lot. You put together a great podcast. If somebody's, if you're thinking about putting together a podcast, just imagine this. You put together your own show, and then while you're on a breakation, or you're in Maui, or you are just relaxing, or you're working, or you're sleeping, your podcasts are playing, and you're influencing people. And you're talking about, you're building a relationship with them. You're sharing great information with them. They're getting to know who you are, and you're building out a great audience. And some of the amazing stats that I've tracked down last week, which is, I think it's stunning. The numbers are there's 450 million English-speaking blogs on the web.
Wow.
That's stunning, 450 million. Yet, there's only 225,000 podcasts in iTunes. So if you do the math on that, you'll figure out that for every blog, so if you're thinking of starting a blog, you can pretty much guarantee you're going to have somewhere around 1,000 other blogs that you're competing with on that same topic. Sometimes more, maybe a little less, but on average, 1,000 blogs you're going to compete with, which is a lot. If you're going to start a podcast, for every 1,000 blogs, there's only one podcast.
There you go.
So, and in addition, totally, it's incredible. So then if you think about that, you still get the advantages of blogging, because each week when you create your new episode, you add it to the site, and that's a blog post. So you're still getting the content. But not only that, that blog post is now repurposed through iTunes, all of the directories we mentioned earlier, and then, of course, you can also share it through your social media. So there's just so many advantages to having a podcast, and I must say it's so refreshing to finally see podcasting start to really take hold. And I predict, 2014 is the year of the podcast. We're only just getting started. And, there's pretty easy to predict some things when you look at some of the stats that I've seen and some of the things that, take Apple, for example. And Apple kicked it off with the iPod back in 2004, I believe. Quickly followed it a couple, 3 years later with the iPhone, which was a revolution. So both of those just took off. Like you remember when the iPods came out? Every one of our kids had to have an iPod.
That's right.
It was just, and all their friends had iPods. Everybody had an iPod. And then all of a sudden, the iPhone came out. And I remember the first iPhone I actually got to look at and touch and see in real life was at Commission Junction University down in Santa Barbara. And that was a revolutionary new device. Prior to that, it was flip phones and nothing compared to an iPhone. So Apple really stepped it up. Then not too long after that, I guess another 2 or 3 years down the pipe, came along the iPad, and we all know now tablets are becoming the dominant computing device. So the big question is, what's next? And I had a chance to share an article that was written on Apple's new service that's already starting to take hold called CarPlay. And essentially what they've done is they've signed deals with automakers, everybody from Ferrari to Honda, Hyundai, Mercedes-Benz, Volvo, and Apple also says that they've got future agreements to employ CarPlay in your Beamer, in your Chev, Jaguar, Land Rover, Nissan, Subaru, and Toyota. So essentially, it's a car version of your iPhone / iPad / iPod embedded or built and designed with Wi-Fi directly into the dashboard of your car, which will give people more ability to listen to podcasts because they're very